I am extremely bullish on crypto going into September, and I know that I've been saying this for the last couple weeks, but guess what? I do think that almost no one is really paying attention to the environment around crypto right now. Number one, August, the beginning of August was a huge month. It was a huge starter for altcoins and for the rest of the market because, again, what happened was Ethereum started to go insane. We made a new all-time high in the month of August so far. September is creeping up on us. September also has the FOMC meeting. The FOMC meeting will most likely involve a rate cut, the first rate cut of 2025 as well. I mean, guys, the environment right now within the crypto market and outside of the crypto market is just so bullish to the point where I don't see how anyone can be upset right now. But of course, a lot of people are, because again, a lot of these altcoins are still trading around or even under, significantly under their highs from back in January. And that's 7 months ago. So again, a lot of people are getting very impatient. They're getting frustrated. And this is at a crucial moment in the cycle where I do think we are about to go insane. And I'll talk about why. So number one, let's go over a few things. Let's talk about how the market is now green, not just on the daily, but also on the weekly. We're starting to see some nice gains across the board here. Obviously, some of these gains are not that great, like XRP is up 3.3%, HBAR is up 1.7%. That's absolutely nothing compared to some of these other gains, like, for an example, Crow up 85%. It did have, basically, one of the biggest announcements around crypto over the last couple weeks as well. So that's why, Crow is up in a big way. Beyond that, OKB, another exchange token, was also up 21+%. Reasons why? Well, because they were, burning their supply down to 21 million. So there's a few outliers here, obviously, but the main thing that I'm looking at is the recovery on Bitcoin, the recovery on Ethereum, which is also leading to the recovery on even XRP. We could see on the daily, Bitcoin is up 1.9%. Both Ethereum and XRP up 2.8, almost 2.6% on XRP. It's like almost 3% across the board for Ethereum and XRP. On the weekly, 8.7% on Ethereum, XRP up 3.3%, and Bitcoin down 1.3%. Bitcoin hovering around 112K, Ethereum around 4,600, XRP about $3.01. So nothing too crazy there at all. The overall market itself, 3.9 trillion right now, neutral territory for fear and greed. Altcoin season, 46 out of 100. We're creeping up on Bitcoin right now. Guys, I'm telling you right now, we are fully focused on Ethereum and altcoins now. We don't really care about Bitcoin. Yes, we still need Bitcoin to recover. Yeah, Bitcoin should still be a slight focus, but the main thing here is Ethereum. I'm more so watching Ethereum recover than Bitcoin because we are in phase 2. We're still locked in on Ethereum. Ethereum is absolutely killing the game right now, just from the ETF inflows, the performance. I mean, like I said, we made a new all-time high in the month of August already. August has been a very, very good month for us. I know that the second half wasn't the best, but that first half of August was very exciting to watch. And then going into September, with everything happening in September, I'm very much so looking forward to seeing altcoins trading much, much higher. But when we look at Bitcoin, this is what the last 7 days looks like. Again, the main thing that we're looking at here is reclaiming some crucial levels of support. And when we are looking at the 1 month, you could see where we need to flip, right? We want to flip this 112K spot roughly. And then after that, we're really looking at flipping like 117.6K on our way to, that 124K spot, just from, the middle of August. So, Bitcoin has a lot of work to do, but I still don't think that Bitcoin's the focus here because we've been seeing a ton of outflows on the ETFs, and the ETFs for Bitcoin have been severely underperforming Ethereum's. So again, I don't really care too much about watching Bitcoin at this stage of the cycle. It's very similar to, back in January of 2021, where we kind of just gave up watching Bitcoin because, from that point on, Bitcoin barely made any new major highs. It just kind of chopped, and it chopped while Ethereum was set free. And right now, Ethereum in the last 7 days, you can see that we are maintaining higher lows and we're starting to push even higher on the chart. Right now on the 7-day chart, this thing looks beautiful. On the monthly, again, looks very good. On the year, it looks very, very good. And then if we look at the all-time chart, we are now fighting those highs from back in 2021, the all-time highs. And just going off of where we were back in, December into January of 2021, you could see how crazy Ethereum went after that point, while Bitcoin basically just did nothing during that time. Again, that's the stage of the cycle that we're in. Now, if we're thinking about that, that also means that altcoins like XRP are going to go insane from this point on. And I know that we're already up in a huge way on the 1 year. We're still up 407%. On the all-time chart, this is what XRP looks like. But this is very exciting because we still have a long way to go for a lot of altcoins, including XRP, where XRP is already at $3 and everyone's questioning like, all right, well, how much higher can XRP actually go? Well, guess what? We could easily hit, $5 to $10 or even higher. That's why we're still locked in on what XRP is doing. Now, I'm also locked in on HBAR. I'm locked in on, XLM, XDC. A lot of these altcoins are going to go much, much higher over the coming weeks, especially with that FOMC meeting upcoming in September, which is most likely going to be the first rate cut of 2025. On top of that, institutional adoption continues to surge. Stablecoin usage is continuing to surge as well. The recognition of crypto from the government is becoming a big focus point of mine because of utility altcoins and just utility projects in general are starting to get that green light, which is something that we've been waiting years and years and years for. So it seems as though 2025 is basically the year where all of this starts to kind of fall into place, which is very exciting. Now, if we're looking at altcoins specifically right now and not really looking at all of those other factors, just looking at one chart, which is the Bitcoin dominance chart, I said over the last couple of days on X, I said everyone is completely overlooking how Bitcoin dominance is experiencing a dead cat bounce that will lead to altcoins going parabolic over the next few weeks. And again, if we're looking at Bitcoin dominance, the main thing that I was watching for, and this is on the 3-day, was this move here. Okay, we dropped, had a slight push to the upside, found resistance, and then immediately dropped. Look at the same price action here. Again, we had a slight impulse, we hit resistance, and now we're starting to drop. I do believe that this chart is officially topped out, right? It's been topped out. It's been topped out since going back to, the end of June. This is where I also said, going all the way back to April, I said, listen, we should start to see Altseason starting to really show its signs of life towards the end of June in the beginning of July. That was not me making some crazy prediction. That was me basing it off of time frame structure on this chart. And now we can see that from that point on, we've just been selling off on Bitcoin dominance, and we've been starting to see inflows around Ethereum and even around altcoins really heating up. Now, also during this time, because of how weak Bitcoin dominance is, guess what we're focused on? We're focused on XRP's Bitcoin pair, and I've been seeing a lot of people posting about this. I did include this in a recent video as well. This is from Crypto Wizard. We have 8 years. The sleeping giant is getting ready to wake again. XRP against Bitcoin is teasing its 8-year trend line. A breakout of this lower high trend line will trigger the next major rally to new highs. Patience pays. Now, also, if we're looking at this, this is the chart. It's a massive downtrend from 2017, 2018, and it seems as though XRP is trying to fight that trend line, getting ready for a big break, even on the lower time frame, right? And this goes back to our breakout back in November of just last year. We are in a major downtrend, right? And I'm not talking about this line. Let's just remove that so that you guys don't get confused. Here we have major moves on the chart, major downtrend, retested the trend line, Boom, big impulsive move off of it. Now we're just ranging in what looks like a bull flag formation, and we found our support on the December highs that we rejected, and this also caused us to retest that lower trend line before we had that big spike back to, a new high compared to the December wick. Now, we're fighting some resistance here. We're chopping to the side. We're waiting for this thing to spike. And during this time as well, we're focused on, and let's just zoom out real quick on the 3-week. I'm focused on a few levels here. Number one, initial wicks back in November of 2020 and even back in May of 2021. This level should be targeted. All right, now once we target that level, and so far this cycle, we've been doing things like this. Once we target this level, we should start to see a big break over this. Just like we broke over the 2021 highs on the XRP USD chart, and then also retesting those 2021 or 2017, 2018 highs on the USD chart. I don't know if we retest the 2017, 2018 highs in terms of these wicks, but I do think that the demand zone up here going all the way back to 2013 should be retested. This would be huge for XRP, especially considering the fact that going off of our current level to the top of this demand zone, this is a 316% push against Bitcoin. On the USD chart, that should be almost a 600% push. That would take us to almost $18 for XRP. I'm not saying that we do that, but a lot of people have the same idea here. Kevin Cage was talking about it as well. We have here, what if the XRP fractal really is following the previous Bitcoin fractal? And this pattern is just drawing 2 to 3 times longer. If we're looking at what Kevin Cage's chart looks like, this is the overall view, okay? If we are following that same fractal of Bitcoins, it would take us to $22.50 almost. Guys, this is in line with the Bitcoin pair retesting these highs going all the way back to 2017, 2018, 2013, 2014, even 2014, 2015. And just like I said, this is a 300% push. We should see on the USD chart, even if we have, let's say, a 400% push from where we are at right now, okay? A 400% push should take us to about $15. This is why it's unpredictable on how high XRP can go this cycle. Almost nobody's going to get this right because it's questionable on how high XRP can actually go, because this is the first time that we would be breaking to a new all-time high and going into price discovery since going back to 2017, 2018. This cycle is completely different for XRP as well, because institutional grade adoption is surging, acceptance is surging, stablecoins are surging. Like everything that we've been talking about for years that everyone thought was boring because they weren't NFTs, they weren't meme coins, they weren't altcoins that were illiquid, that were going insane. We were talking about legitimate real world use cases, and this was at a time where that was not the narrative. That was not the big hype around the crypto space. So if we're thinking about that, right, today, that is the big hype around this space. Everyone's talking about stablecoins. Everyone's talking about tokenization. They're talking about institutional grade adoption. That's all supporting XRP at this point. So the question is, once we start to see XRP really go crazy, because again, so far it's been doing very well this cycle, but what happens when we start to really break out against Bitcoin? What if we do follow this fractal? What if we get those ETF approvals? I mean, guys, the market right now around XRP is very bullish, but also around this entire space, it's extremely bullish, especially for those that are holding HBAR or XLM or XDC. This is why I'm so excited to get into September, see what happens with that FOMC meeting, because I do think that that's going to support this market in a much larger way. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on for some more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, Nick, thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.